Good afternoon on this Wednesday, February 26th. I'm Yuna Naufal, and these are today's headlines. Hezbollah confirms it will choose the right time and place to retaliate to the strike near the Bekaa region of Jinta after Israeli fighter jets shelled one of its positions. Dozens of rebel fighters are killed in an army ambush at the entrance to an opposition stronghold east of Damascus in Syria. And Ukraine's pro-Western interim leaders are set to unveil their new cabinet after disbanding the feared riot police. Hezbollah has confirmed that the Israeli fighter jets have shelled one of its positions on the Lebanese-Syrian border. It says in its statement that the resistance will choose the right time and place to retaliate to the strike near the Bekaa region of Jinta. They added that no one was killed nor injured and that only material damage occurred. Hezbollah refutes media reports that rocket positions were targeted and that the attack is an assault to Lebanon's sovereignty and land and not just the resistance, stressing that the attack demonstrates the hostile nature of the Zionist movement and demands a clear and honest stance from all sides. The party vowed that the assault will not pass without retaliation by the resistance. Now, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says that Israel was doing all that is necessary to ensure its security, adding that they will not say what they are up to. The trial of 5 Hezbollah members accused of complicity in the assassination of former Prime Minister Rafiq Hariri is adjourned until mid-May at the very least, according to a court document. Judges at the Special Tribunal for Lebanon ordered the delay to allow defense lawyers for the 5th suspect, Hassan Habib Mir'i, to prepare after their client's case was merged with that of 4 other suspects indicted back in 2011. Mir'i is accused of being a leading member of the assassination team that ordered Hariri's killing and of helping orchestrate an alleged false claim of responsibility. The delay could dent the court's momentum less than 2 months after it opened trial proceedings. The trial of the first 4 suspects began last month in absentia at the STL's headquarters in The Hague. Google Lebanon celebrates the birthday of pioneering Lebanese performer Hassan Alauddin, known as Shushu, with a drawing of the actor, singer, and comedian replacing the 2 O's in its name. Shushu was born on February 26, 1939 in Beirut and died in 1975 at just 35 years old from a heart condition. He's the founder of the National Theatre, and he also wrote and acted in many TV movies. He had a famous mustache and added the icon of what is known as tarbouche on top of the last letter of the Google. Alauddin, commonly known as Shushu, was the famous Lebanese singer and comedian that was born in 1939, and he composed many children's songs and plays, including Alif Bibouye and Nana Al-Hilwe. Dozens of rebel fighters are killed in an army ambush at the entrance to an opposition stronghold east of the Syrian capital. State television says, acting on information and in a well-organized ambush, their courageous army killed dozens of Al-Nusra Front terrorists in the East Ghouta area of a rebel stronghold. They say the army also seized the rebels' weapons. According to the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, dozens of Islamist fighters were killed and wounded in an ambush by loyalist troops with the help of Hezbollah. A security source said most of the fighters were Jordanians and Saudis and had crossed over into Syria from Jordan earlier this morning. The ambush took place at around 5 a.m. and killed 175 rebel fighters. The area was also the target of a chemical attack back in August of last year that killed hundreds of people. Now, reports of polio cases in 2013 represented a huge setback to the global efforts to finally eradicate the disease, according to the head of the World Health Organization. Margaret Chan, the Director General of the WHO, expressed the concern at a UN General Assembly meeting on the deteriorating state of children's health care conditions in Syria, saying the steep drop in childhood immunization opens the door for vaccinating preventable diseases to return to Syria, and they did, including polio.
The steep drop in childhood immunization opened the door for vaccine-preventable diseases to return to Syria. And they did, including polio. The first cases of polio in Syria since 1999 were reported in October 2013. This marked a significant risk and threat to Syria's children, but also a huge setback to the global initiative to eradicate polio.
California couple walking their dog finds $10 million worth of rare gold coins. Stay with us. Welcome back. Ukraine's pro-Western interim leaders are set to unveil their new cabinet after disbanding the feared riot police as they sought to build confidence in the splintered and economically ravaged former Soviet Union nation. The new government will be symbolically revealed on Kiev's Independence Square, the epicenter of 3 months of protest that ended in violence last week that triggered the weekend ouster of President Viktor Yanukovych. The temporary authorities in Kiev are grappling with the dual threats of separatism and a looming debt default as they try to piece the former Soviet nation back together following the months of turmoil. In an apparent bid to begin healing wounds in the divided nation, Acting Interior Minister Arsen Avakov said he had dissolved an elite riot police unit known as the Berkut, despised by many for its heavy crackdown on the anti-government protesters.
This is not a zero-sum game. It is not a West versus East. It should not be. It is not Russia or the United States or other choices. This is about the people of Ukraine and Ukrainians making their choice about their future. And we want to work with Russia, with other countries, with everybody available to make sure this is peaceful from this day forward, because obviously the terrible violence that took place in the Maidan was a shock to everybody in the world.
I think we're clear from our talks today that we see this in exactly the same way. This is about the rights of a free people, a free democratic Ukraine to make their own decisions. We encourage them to form an inclusive government that enables a new political consensus to take shape in their country, to change a political culture where corruption has been pervasive, to hold free elections, as they have decided in May, that are fair to everyone in their country.
An Egyptian criminal court sentenced 26 militants to death for founding a terror group that aimed to target ships in the Suez Canal, according to judicial sources. Prosecutors also accused the defendants of making rockets and explosives while monitoring various security headquarters to plan attacks on them. The defendants were condemned for founding and leading a terror group that aimed to attack people's freedom, damage national unity, and attack the Suez Canal waterway. The court referred the verdict to the Mufti, a top Islamic official who under Egyptian law has to validate the sentence, and set March 19 for the final verdict. The sources gave no further details about the group nor about the alleged plot to target ships in the Suez Canal, one of the world's busiest petroleum shipping channels. An Al-Qaeda-inspired group, Furqan Brigades, attacked vessels passing through the canal last year and have vowed to conduct more attacks in the future. And gunmen opened fire near several opposition protest sites in Bangkok, stoking tensions in the capital as Thailand's embattled prime minister flew to her political stronghold in the north. Street violence, often targeting protesters, has become a near daily feature of the almost 4 months-long crisis gripping Thailand, with the toll standing at 22 dead and hundreds wounded. Police say unknown gunmen fired sporadically earlier this morning for around an hour in 3 areas of Bangkok, where demonstrators are camped out alongside upscale shopping malls and luxury hotels. Nobody was wounded, but Prime Minister Yingluck Shinawatra is under intense pressure to step down, with the protesters calling for an unelected People's Council to tackle corruption and a culture of money politics. Her supporters say they will not accept the removal of an elected government by the protesters, military, or the courts, raising fears of a protracted standoff. In other world news, former U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Rodham Clinton says that advancing rights and opportunities for women around the world is not a women's issue, but a task shared by everyone around the world, including men. She made the comments as she presented the annual Hillary Rodham Clinton Award for Advancing Women in Peace and Security at an event at Georgetown University in Washington, D.C. She also said that it was not a mistake, but a message that this year's recipients were all men. British Foreign Secretary William Hague, NATO Secretary General Anders Fogh Rasmussen, and Dr. Denis Mukwege, a surgeon from the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Ending sexual violence, advancing the rights and opportunities of women and girls is a responsibility that we all share. Women and men, senior government officials, courageous NGO workers and humanitarians, students at this university. All of us have a contribution to make. We believe this is the unfinished business of the 21st century, giving women the tools and resources to break through the barriers that keep them from contributing to fully participating in their governments, economies, and societies. And I cannot think of a better way of kicking off this work than by honoring the three men, and particularly the two who are with us today.
Now for news around the world in brief. The Bible that a U.S. bus driver kept in his pocket saved his life after it stopped 2 bullets from piercing his chest. Ricky Wagner, who's 49 years old, had stopped his bus to fix a problem in the early hours of Monday morning when he was approached by 3 teenagers in what appears to be a gang initiation attack. One of the teens slashed him in the arm with a knife while he fought for the gun, which went off during the struggle and shot him in the leg. But he managed to get both weapons away. And a California couple out walking their dog on their property stumbled across a modern-day bonanza. $10 million in rare mint condition gold coins buried in the shadow of an old tree. Nearly all of the 1,427 coins dating from 1847 to 1894 are in uncirculated mint condition. What makes their find particularly valuable, the experts say, is that almost all of the coins are in near-perfect condition, so whoever put them into the ground likely tucked them away as soon as they were put into circulation. And movie music lovers have cause to be happy this week. After 85 years, Oscars is putting on its very first concert, and there are plans to televise future shows worldwide. The Motion Picture Academy will present a live Oscar concert in the days leading up to the 86th Annual Academy Awards that celebrates this year's nominated music. The Thursday concert at UCLA's Royce Hall will feature all 5 original scores performed by an 80-piece orchestra conducted by each nominated composer, plus performances of the 4 original songs up for Oscars this year. This is a first-time ever concert by the Motion Picture Academy presenting all of the current Oscar-nominated scores and songs. While the inaugural Oscar concert will not be televised, Fox said the plan is to make the program an annual event broadcast on TV, projected in movie theaters across the globe. Let the storm rage on. This marks the end of our bulletin for today. Now for a reminder of our headlines. Hezbollah confirms it will choose the right time and place to retaliate to the strike near the Bekaa region of Jinta after Israeli fighter jets shelled one of its positions. Dozens of rebel fighters are killed in an army ambush at the entrance to an opposition stronghold east of Damascus. And Ukraine's pro-Western interim leaders are set to unveil their new cabinet after disbanding the feared riot police. Those are your Wednesday headlines live on Future Television in Beirut. I'm Yuna Nofla wishing you a good ride.